also permits me to welcome Reverend Professor Ambassador Aniefiok Akpabio from Nigeria to share with us on how to solve conflicts in leadership. It's very, very important. I will just quickly show some slides because of the time, because we want to hear a lot from our professor. So, but I will show the slides, but I will read a few of the information about our next speaker. He was born in Ibiaku, Esa Epo, local government, Akwa State, and professor is the Fellow Association of Christian Theologians, Nigeria, Fellow at College of Chaplaincy and Psychology, Nigeria, Doctoral Fellow, Institute of Chartered Mediator and Graspologist of Africa, Patron of Y.Y.C.I International, Academic London, UK, Ambassador of Peace and Community Transformation, Argentina, Continental Board Secretary of World Organization of Ambassadors, Argentina, Head of Administration, African Chancellery, World Organization of Ambassadors, International and Continental Theological and Conference speaker and educationist. He's the chairman of NEC. He was former the chairman of NEC Association of Christian Theologians, former provost of World Harvest Bible College and Seminary, Calabar, former chairman and governing council of National Theological College, academic advisor, Christian Theology College, member of African Association of Bible School, and many, many more. Is appointed as president of Scripture Union, General Secretary of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, General Secretary of CRS, Christian Association of Nigeria, General Superintendent of Redeemed International Calvary Mission, General Secretary of CRS, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Dean of Studies, Ministerial Training Institute, Calabar, State President of CRA Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, and patron and Female Ministers Forum International, FMFI, and also, let me quickly say this, chairman of Central Planning Committee of Rehoboth Gospel Crusade. Is the provost and chairman of Management Board of World Harvest Bible College, patron of Great Women, I've mentioned that, patron of Single Affiliate Network, chairman Association of Christian Theologians, vice president Association of Christian Theologians, and many, many more. I'm going somewhere. He has so many awards and honors, like Female Minister Forum International for Exemplary Leadership Award, Cross River Broadcasting Corporate Excellent Performance Award, Pentecostal Assemblies of the World Award for Committed Service to God and Humanity, Faithfulness in Service Award, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria Chapter for Commitment to the Progress of PFN in the State, and Christian Association of Christian Service Award as the longest serving secretary, Bible Society Special Member Outstanding Service Award, Educational Leadership Award by Institute of Industrial Administration of Nigeria, Christ for the World Mission Special Growth Award, World Harvest Bible College and Seminary Selfless Service Award, and many more. So let's also go into the last one, which is an electrical engineer and member Association of Supervisory and Executive Engineer, a professor of theology and biblical studies, fellow Association of Christian Theologian Facts, is also the General Overseer of Kingdom Builder Ministry, President and Visionary Ministerial Consultancy Network, a licensed marriage counselor and teacher on martial issues, Head of Administration World Organization of Ambassador, member of Bible Research Institute, MBRI, a child of God, a minister of the gospel who is called to teach, to preach, and take people to their destined destination, a privileged and accepted speaker of Y.Y.C.I International. So, permit me to welcome to this Ambassador Reverend Professor Aniefiok Akpabio from Nigeria to share with us. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you, my queen. Thank you for all of us who are contributors to what the Lord has given as responsibility to our queen to make sure she affects not only the life of the youth, but the life of all. Like when she was sharing with me, say it was for the youth, but everybody now wants, because there is a boy in every man and there is a girl in every woman. So we are still both boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen. So I really thank God for you, for what you've done for all of us. And I know, like here in Nigeria, we say the labor of the hero past shall never be in vain. Whatever we are doing, I know we shall reap a reward, especially the spiritual reward after all, that God will reward us. So thank you for being present here. Today, I want to handle the issue of how to solve conflict in leadership. How to solve conflict in leadership. And when actually two words are being understood there, it will actually help us. And the two words is conflict. Another one, leadership. I always say that when we talk about leadership, the short form I look at it is to lead the ship. I'm now a leader of a ship, which if you lose the content, if you lose the focus, you have problem. So let me define those words so we can understand. Because most of the time we look at conflict as a bad thing. But we are going to see also that there is a good side of conflict. So what is conflict? By getting to the Greek word, sorry, we are in school and also we are in church and we are everywhere. By getting to the Greek word, the word for conflict is agon. And when we look at the word agon, it emphasizes the issue of contest. Number two, struggle. Number three, confrontation. And number four, disagreement. So if agon in the Greek qualify the issue of conflict, we can see that actually it is a confrontation, a context, and a struggle. Even within us, we know there's what we call intrapersonal conflicts, and there's what we call interpersonal conflicts. In the book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, which is interpersonal, because they are fighting against us to survive. But in Galatians chapter 5, verse 17, which is intrapersonal, it says the spirit lost after the soul, or the body or the flesh lost after the spirit. So it is within us. So being within us, we can really look at it and want to look at the issue of conflict so that it can really help us a lot. So we can now say that when we look at the word conflict, there are certain things that is possible to think about. And what are those things? What is really conflict? Because when we look at those agon as interpretation, we look at it that when we see conflict, it is a way of establishing power, a way people establish power or position to show who is who. And when we look in that, to that direction, the leader also must be careful on what he's doing, so that when the who is who want to manifest, we know what to do. I love Jesus because even in the scripture, he said offenses must come. Something that will bring conflict will come, but woe unto him that offense come. But in other words, when offenses come, we should be able to handle offenses or conflict very well. So in all we are looking at what is the struggle in leadership? What is the context in leadership? What is a confrontation that confront the leader or the people? Or how do people establish position to know who is who and who is that? Or a striving together that will now help us. So I come to the definition of the word conflict in the normal world. Number one, we say that conflict is a time where there is a struggle to gain one's right and recognition. A conflict is a situation where there is a struggle for someone to gain one's right or recognition. I want to be known. I want to be seen. And that little thing that is trying to do is going to bring conflict because others may not see it the way it's said. Another aspect is that conflict is a stage of violence. We talk about violence, fighting, or struggling for something best known to them. Somebody may be fighting and struggling, quarreling every day. He knows what he's looking for. And that struggling is called conflict within him, whether it is internal, interpersonal, or interpersonal. All this brings a problem we see. Conflict is a period in an organization where there is context, battle, violence, collusion, disagreement, or clash between two persons. So we see that in day-to-day activity, we find ourselves having conflicts. Somebody must want to be the head. Somebody will want to express his view. Somebody will want to aspire. How do we control and solve this issue of conflict? We say also that conflict is a state in an organization where out of misunderstanding, misconception, misrepresentation, and miscalculation, the subordinates now remain against the leadership. Remember the four mis. I talk about misconception. I talk about misunderstanding. I talk about misrepresentation. And I talk about miscalculation. A leader may calculate. This is what is going to happen. And he may miscalculate. A leader may be representing, may represent beyond what it ought to be, and it's not so. So when these four me's comes in, we see when there is a battle to stand on what is going on, that could be called like conflict. To say more about conflict, we say conflict is, in the literal meaning, is a state where people or group of people strike together in a cause of maintaining the truth. That's why we will look at it that all conflict is not a bad thing. There are certain times that somebody may see something wrong, and then he had to bring his opinion, and the other person brings opinion, and there is a conflict within them, all to resolve and bring out the truth. So for us to come into this, I tell people in school and leadership that we have done management, say conflict management. Enough is enough for management. We should go to conflict resolution. It is resolution that we are going to talk about today. How do we resolve? How do we solve the conflict? Not managing. Don't worry, it will change. Don't worry, it will work very well. When we look at it and understand what conflict is all about, we'll be able to handle and solve it. Other people say that conflict is a state in a place where quarrel can occur about the best way to do something. Conflict at all, in all, may not be bad. But somebody may say, no, it's not that way that it should do. It should have done the other way. It should have not done the other way. Disagreement of which way can it be done right can bring conflict. There can be a quarrel. There can be a situation the other person will not greet the other person at all. And the other person did not have a wrong thing in mind, but he wanted to do things on the right way. So when we understand it, we know how we can do and make it. And conflict generally is a created tension or an experiential breakdown. Remember, I say here that conflict may be a created tension. A tension that is created is supposed not to be there. But because of the tension that has been created, everybody is feeling the tension. Everybody want to react or want to say. And when that is done, it's going to affect the free flow of what is done. It created tension that at the end will be pains and disrupting of activity. So we need to know when a leader understands that a little tension created today can create problems tomorrow. He will know how to solve those problems so that things may go very well. Oftentimes, I learn something from the engine of the car. The people who sit inside the car are feeling the air condition and the coolness of the car going on. But the engine is rubbing each other, except because of the oil. There is the engine turning each other, turning around in order to bring the thing that is going on. And that is what we look at leadership. Some people may not be, good leadership is based on how you have been able to manage the situation, rub minds together, lubricated by the oil, so that it can really flow and make things go the way it should go. So this is what we look at conflict. And finally, I want to say, among all the definition of conflict, that conflict is an act which is likely to occur when an individual is making effort to fulfill a desire or a thought. Somebody may be making effort to fulfill a desire, to fulfill an idea, and people will look at it as it should not be like this, it should not be now, and that can be conflict. Having known that this is what we look at as conflict, and having remembered that I've said that there is intrapersonal conflict, where you have the problem within yourself, you become a leader. How do you handle when some man will say do, the other one say don't do, this one say do, the other one say don't do? Which one do you listen to? Which one do you obey? That's where Galatians 5:17 comes. The spirit lost after the flesh lost after the spirit, and they are contrary one to another, that you don't know what to do. You are now in a confused state, and that's what we want to suggest. How can we solve this situation? Knowing that fully very well, I come to the next area I want to look at, the basic types of conflicts. The basic types of conflicts. We say there are about 10 basic types of conflicts, which a leader must be able and willing to know. The first is conflict arising out of the hierarchy, the struggle for hierarchy and opposition in an organization. That's one of the dangerous conflicts. When this one say I should be there, the other one say I should be there, the other one I should be there. Who is here? Who is the head? Who is next to him? Who is next to him? There can be conflict. It might be the person who's really on the head may not be able to do what is expected to be done. And somebody down here will say, well, because he's on the head, let him go and suffer. I don't want to say anything. That's one type of conflict. And we call it conflict arising out of hierarchical position, hierarchy. Number two type of conflict is conflict based on the relationship between the objective state of affair and the state of affair as perceived by the person or people involved. There is an objective. Everybody's looking at a particular thing at a particular time, and somebody may not look at the objective. You want to go to the subjective. And when you take the subjective to be the reality, not the objective, we see there is going to be bound to be conflict. And that's where we are going to suggest how do we solve it. There is a third one called the conflict that is based on antagonistic structure or source. Antagonistic source is a situation, is in antagonism. He doesn't want to listen to, he doesn't want to compromise. Individual, we can also say in opposition. You see, when parties are there, they say this one is opposition party. Not because they are fighting, but because they have a different ideology from what the other one is having. So when we look at that kind that is based on that antagonistic source, then we must be careful, because when the thing is affecting the heart, the person will stand in strong opposition and things will not work. How should the leader handle that situation? Number four, we have the type of conflict we call conflict inbuilt in the organizational behavioral system of the group. Inbuilt. This is how we have been doing it. It must not be outside there. And somebody can bring a fresh idea that can help that work to go, but because of those inborn settings, it must be so. As it was in the beginning, so shall it ever be, world without end. That will bring conflict with the young minds. and the young thoughts and what we are seeing today, how we can handle. How can a leader do this? And we have conflict caused by human interruption, expressed in culture, color, behavior, non-communication, and the rest. You know, the issue of culture issue, color of the skin. Thank God for Martin Luther. When he stayed and looked in the future, he said, I had a dream that it will come a time that my 4 little children shall not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of the character. Which means no matter the situation of the color, we should look at the character and the result. If the result is working, we accept it. And that's what the leader must understand. When such a conflict comes, how does it handle it? We have also, number 6, a conflict over church goals. May not be church, may be individual goals and priorities. What is the priority? What is the goal of the place? And because we want to fulfill the goal, and then the leader will say, let's go this way. The subordinate will say, will not work. That will bring conflict. And this is where there must be a resolution or how to solve it, not just to manage it alone. Number 7, we have conflict over God's given talents of an individual in a church or in a community, in an area. Speciality. Somebody can be a specialist, knows what to do, but because he have a connection with the power that rule, he might be robbed from doing what he know better. And we brought somebody who doesn't know will be brought into that place. And when the person who know better will be having some problem agreeing with this one. And that could be a problem, which the leader must detect who is the right person for the right job and how can they do it better. Number 8, we talk about conflict as a result of leaders striving to control the situation or anything. When a leader becomes a dominator and he wants to lead by all means, he doesn't even take instruction from others. There must be conflict because others will revolt. I said last time, it is easy to handle an animal or animals than to lead a people. Because the people have their consciousness, their mindset, their focus, their attention, and not like others that doesn't have. Then a leader must know that. Then number 9, we have conflict that comes out because of different viewpoints of the workers and being regarded in non-productive activity. You can see if you're a leader, if you are not careful, people who may not have a focus may be good speakers, who can control, who can convince. And if you don't know what you are doing, you may give yourself to those who only have a noise maker and they are not really the workers to bring results. If you listen to that, you realize that you are going to have a conflict between those who know and those who don't know. And those who know will just turn themselves away and say, okay, let him go. And you end in frustration. And finally, the 10th type of conflict we have is conflict aroused by personal selfish desire and passion. There's a conflict that can arise because of arousal of personal selfish idea and passion. Somebody can wake up and want to gain all, want to get all, want to have the name, want to make it, and others who may be working are not really enjoying whatever is going on. So in such a case, then we can say that such conflicts can actually affect the situation or what it is. Let me go to the issue of, is there any advantage in conflict? Does conflict, is it all trouble, or there is advantages in conflict? Yes, the leader must know that there may be disagreements, but we should all disagree to agree. So the following are the advantages of conflict. So by the time we come to solve, we can have this idea. Number 1 advantage of conflict is that it can stimulate interest and activity. When there is conflict, watch out very well. The conflict can stimulate what we call interest or activity. People can rise up to bring new ideas. So don't kill conflict. Don't look at conflict as a problem. Don't see that it's going to destroy. but see it as a part that is coming for you to work with and end your results. There was times Jesus had some conflict, or the disciples have some conflict within themselves, and Jesus said it should not be so. It could have not been like that. It should be like this, should be like that. It now generates interest or stimulate interest and activity. That is one of the issue about conflict. The second advantage of conflict is that it can serve as a safety value for hostility. When conflict is going on, you can now look at a situation for safety value, so that by the time you know, so that we may avoid what happened yesterday, let's take this precaution. That is what, and if problem had not happened, you will see that people may not look at one new solution when it comes. Number three, conflict can promote change and strengthen human character in church, in home, and in the society. It can promote change. You can come to a situation and say, okay, because we have this problem that brought in the conflict we had, okay, let us do something here. Last time I talked about the issue of the disciple or the apostle in Acts chapter 6. That conflict generated and promoted not only a change and interest, because when the other one were complaining, they give the other one food, they don't give us food. The disciples came together and they were solving, they did not manage the conflict, they were solving the conflict. And they said, let us not, let's hand over this work to certain people. That promotes safety, that promotes expansion of the work. So let us not always look at conflict as problem, because when we look at it that way, we'll always see the devil in every situation. Another thing that can be seen about conflict is that it can make people feel defeated, thus change or challenge the positive action. When people know that conflict will not always bring people to the end, they can learn to change. And if the leader is always a disciplinarian and make sure that any conflict that comes up that was not going on the right way and the person is at fault, the person should be rebuked or disciplined. When others see it, they can change their activity. We say also that conflict can be productivity, creativity, and balanced relationship. Because when there is conflict and then the conflict is resolved, you see that there will be productivity. And that is not that somebody should do it. Jesus said, offenses must come, but woe to him that through him offenses come. But out of that offenses, you can put things in the proper shape of what it should be. So conflict can be a process to create, co-create new ideas. Conflict can also bring development of personal confidence. Conflict can also help to arouse the interest of everybody to work, so that they may not fall into the temptation of which yesterday's conflict can bring. Having said that, I want now that we come to the process step for conflict. The process step for conflict. What am I really looking at in this condition? If actually we know about this conflict, what are the steps that we can use to solve personal conflicts? Because my topic is how to solve conflict in leadership. The first thing, if you want to take this step, there are 4 major steps. Though 12, they summarize sometimes into 4. Number 1, you should be able to name the conflict yourself. Before you can solve the conflict, you must be able to know what is really happening. Name the conflict. Know the extent of the danger, so that you can now be able to walk through what you have known. A sickness that is not known, and that's why sometimes they say, let them go for scan, let them go for this, let them go for tests, because they want to know, the medicals want to know exactly what is the problem, then they can do the prescription. So to a leader, you must know, name the conflicts. Is it personal? Is it interpersonal? Is it intrapersonal? Is it societal? Is it because of position? Is it because of personality? Is it because of the kind of way you are leading? Is it because of the structure? All this, when you name them, you can now know what to do. Remember, we are talking about step model of solving conflicts. When you have named them, number two, face the conflict. What do I mean by that? Face them directly and go through them. Since you've known that the conflict that is coming is direct bottom by a person who want to get position, settle that case. Don't say we'll take it about it tomorrow. We'll do it next day. The more you allow anything to escalate, it will destroy the real foundation of the body. So woe to him that offenses come, because it's going to bring problem. So when you have known the conflict, then face the conflict. See what you can do to handle it. Because Jesus said, a little leaven, and even Brother Paul also makes sure we say that, a little leaven the whole lump. A little wound of today that is not treated can burst into a real big wound that you may not be able. So name it, then face it. And that's, be sure that you directly get into the matter and handle it. We are going to tell you the principles of how to do it. Then number three, when you have named the conflict, you have faced the conflict, then what you need to do, feel the conflict. Feel the conflict. What do I mean? Build strength and confidence to deal with future difficulty. Feel the conflict. Any situation you pass through is a training ground for tomorrow's challenges. Anything that comes before you as a leader is making you to be strong or to be weak tomorrow. So feel the conflict. Make it work. Look at it like we talk about food. There are some people, if they are very hungry and they'll eat and they say, yes, now I know. My touch the belly and say, I don't feel the thing where I don't eat. So when you feel the conflict and could really build on it, build the strength on there, you will see that next time such a thing comes, you will be able to handle it. Then release the conflicts. What I mean by that is imagine the conflict and sit quietly. Realize the conflict. Envision the conflict. Sit quietly and look at the trend of what has gone on, how you pass through, and you can gain more idea. Try to visualize the problem and allow yourself to find the solution. Visualize the aspect of that problem which was overlooked. And when you do that, remember, the cause and situation of conflict comes from within each individual. And other processes that we can do in resolving this conflict, if we really want to make sure that it is gone, is number one. If you now take that as a practical conflict resolution now, number one, preparation. You want to learn to get into proper schedule on how to handle it. The first step is preparation. Set the stage and create the safe space. Now, I have seen two of you have gotten problem, or have seen that the work is not going as it should be. Set the space. Do preparation. When you have set everything in order, number two, explain and define things. Let it not just be that you are forced. Make sure you study, you look at what is going on. You decide now to explain and define the conflict. Was it done out of selfishness? Was it done because this person was looking for position? Was it done because of genuine ideas that were brought in? The other one did not like what the other one was doing. What was the case? And when you have set the pace, you explain and define it within you, then what needs to do is explore. Remember, number one, preparation. Number two, explain and define, which explanation and definition. Then number three, explore. Explore the situation. Let me read something here. Go deeper into the underlying issue, those hidden agenda and differing views. When you have gone through them, explore their relaxation between what you do as perception or what you do as conflict. There are certain things that is not conflict at all, it's just perception. And if you go through and see that this is not a conflict but a perception, somebody only perceives in his mind that this is what is going on, and it's not conflict, you can stop at perception and drive away the fear and let the person know what it ought to be known. And that is good. Than taking everything as conflict, and then that becomes a problem. Then when you have explored that, the next thing to explore is the rule of willingness and motivation to carry it on. Explore the rule with willingness. How are you willing to solve the problem? He that fights and run away must need to fight another day. So explore means of measuring and handling it. This issue of let it be tomorrow. Let it be tomorrow. We'll talk. Sometimes it wounds the heart. Sometimes it can create more problem. Whatever you can do in the now, you can do that. Explore the rule of every person. Then have an experience of resolving those personal problems and conflicts. When you have explored all, you know what is happening. You can now know what to do, which means conflict resolution or resolving conflict is not just a one-key thing. It's not just I flew through. It is a thing you study, you do empathically, enter into that, and then be sure within you, if it were you, how could have you handled? Because you are now a leader. Last 2 days, I have explained what a leader is and what is expected of the leader. And I give some advice like this. Perception is based on one's interpretation of what he sees. Hence, as a leader, be mature enough to understand that not all the conflict is to destroy. As a leader, when cases are coming to you, I look at the case of Solomon, a case that could have been a serious issue. That is an example of resolving conflicts. These two people were having the same identity. The other one was unhallowed. The other one was unhallowed. The other one got pregnant the same time. This one got pregnant the same time. Two of them were sleepers. This one slept until he fell upon the child died. The other one slept until they came and took the child away while she was still sleeping. So they have almost the same character. And all of them were living in the same room, in the same house, everything was the same. How do you discover and solve such a problem? Then Solomon decided to come into the aspect of perception. He named the situation. He could define what is going on, and he go into the deeper perspective. How can I get the truth? He said, bring the knife. What was Solomon looking for? If you check very well and you're a counselor, you see that Solomon was looking for a mother's heart. He was looking for a mother's heart because no mother who had taken care of a child in the womb for 9 months will allow anybody's child to die. Not even talking about his or her own child. He was looking for, let me see who's a mother here. He said, bring the knife. Bring the dead child. Let's cut it into two. Bring the other one. Let's cut it into two. And so when we cut into two, then that will solve the problem. A mother's heart appeared. He said, please don't kill. Don't destroy. Hand over to her. Let her carry. And Solomon said, this is the owner of the child. That's when you can solve those kind of conflict that is so similar. Look for the mother's heart. Look for what you can identify. Explore every avenue and know what you can do. It's not only, okay, don't fight again, don't quarrel again. You bring water, put salt and say drink. They will drink the water and go to fight again. If you have not identified what is actually there. So when you do that, since perception has to do with self-reflection, the mediator, who is the leader, must suspend every judgment or criticism until you have find out the truth. Please, as a leader, don't just come across and say, okay, I give my judgment. What you need to do, pass through all kinds of, so that you can know the real thing. Why are people accusing judiciary today? Because there are certain decisions that they take and say according to law, which sometimes is according to money, it's according to influence, it's according to personality. And when people come and look at that, they will look at you as not competent. Your integrity will be at stake. So as a leader, when you have perceived all that thing and you have found out, you can now bring what you need to do. The next step is understanding. Remember, I said the first step is preparation. The second step is explanation. The third step is exploration. And the fourth step now is understanding. And what do I mean by that in a step of taking care of conflict? help to distinguish and understand each person, gain and knowledge. Help to understand each person, what is he gaining from this? Because when you look at people's psychology, even if you have not done psychology, when you look at people at the time they are talking, you know, people who are not sure of what they are doing will be cowards. They may not have the boldness. Though there are some who are bold in doing wickedness and they can actually talk. But you must have certain things that you can do and detect in the person. So understand, help to distinguish, and then to see who is really talking the truth. Gain a knowledge. Look at new insight. Look at perception. And then look at the practice, the way he's presenting. Then no matter what, ensure collaboration in place of quarrel. Okay, we quarreled before. Let us not quarrel again. Let's come together and see what we can do. In the place of problem, in the place of things, find solution to those things. Why people have problem come to a leader is they want solution, or they want victimization, or they want one thing or the other. Be wise enough to know how to handle. The fifth step in finding or resolving conflict is acceptance and application. That's let it come a position that one, you say here, own the process and learn skills to use in future. Acceptance, you own the situation, you gain interest so that you can do it again, because every day, as far as human being is concerned, there will be a problem. And the last one day is agreement. So I have said that the steps are preparation, explanation and definition, exploration, understanding, acceptance, and we talk here agreement. In agreement, I'm talking that when we come to that, write an agreement on what has been done, especially if the two people were combating and talking and quarreling. For you to keep a living legacy that tomorrow they have a point of reference, there should be a documentation called agreement. Let everybody agree and sign that they have agreed that this will not go on again. When that is done, we see that it will actually now help the person to be what it should be. So now we come to conflict resolution. How do a leader resolve a conflict? When you look at it that two people or three people or group of people or a community has entered into communal clashes and conflict, what are the things to do? The strategies is number one, stay impartial. As a leader, stay impartial and committed to the well-being of the people involved. Even if the person is your person, stay impartial. Whenever the people see that there is impartiality in the leader, they will not trust you again. They will revolt over everything that you do. They will always be working to walk you down. So stay impartial. That's the first strategy. Number two, stay alert and focus in the present moment. Stay alert. Don't be carried away by diverse thoughts. Be focus-minded and know where you are hearing. Even when you listen to people and they are talking, yes, the frame of reference is grabbing the word and you are getting it. But the other aspect is let your head be calculative so that you can now know what exactly. Stay alert. There are sometimes you say, okay, I hear you. Certain distraction will come, phone will ring, and then you pick the phone here and then go back. No, stay alert and concentrate. Number three, stay positive and solution-oriented. Because you want to bring to resolve the problem. Stay positive and result-oriented or solution-oriented. When you are like that, when there is insinuation, because everybody wants to gain their rights, even when they are wrong. And there's somebody who stands and say you cannot be right or be wrong and get right, no matter how much you can be. But today, people want to do it. Either they use their money or they use their influence or they use their position in order to bring problems. So you need to stay alert and be focused. And as you do that, you stay positive. Don't be inclined to anything, because tomorrow you will be known. What we do today is actually going to be interpreted tomorrow. That's where even in one of the books of songs, it says you can only be remembered by what you have done. When you have done that, we say always seek clarity. In conflict resolution strategy, always seek clarity. What you are not very clear, ask questions so that they can tell you and then you are very clear. Because a judgment delivered when there's no clarity will bring another problem. And that's where they will go for another court. You say somebody will go from customary court to the other high court, from high court to court of appeal, to court of this and to court of this. If the thing was handled properly and things were very clear, all those moving from this place to the other place could have not come. Because anybody that have a problem want to find solution. And when they don't get solution and satisfied, they move. Therefore, you need to be always alert. Then number 5, honor the process and the persons involved. Please never look down on anybody who comes because he's a cleaner and because he's talking with a manager. And as a leader, you say, well, cleaner, you must always remember, manager is manager. No, stay clear from that. Always make sure that you stand right. As you stay clear, then honor the process of the person. Honor the person involved. Even when he has no money, let there be that respect to the person. Okay, thank God for you. Let the person feel he has a sense of belonging. He will open up. He will stand with you. When you have done that, the next thing is imagine the potential goal in every situation and help to unlock it. There can be some goal which the other person who was criticizing and fighting may be fighting for. Sometimes I look at nations. Many of our leaders kill those who should not be killed because they don't want to look at the other people's issue and be able to face them and look at them and bring solutions so that it can be well. They don't want even to create the space. They don't want to even imagine the potential goal that is going to come up. All is what I want is this. You hear a leader, you hear somebody having money, he said, I don't want to care, I don't care about this, what I want is this. Don't be influenced and don't allow that to happen because tomorrow will tell about the good judgment you judge or the wrong judgment you judge. Especially, look at the journalists. The journalists are keeping record. They will bring the record of 1901 and say, according to the time of this is what happened. These people have died and has finished in the grave, but we come to see their weakness and their failure, and our own can also be there. So make sure you honor the person. Then the next thing, imagine the potential or the potential good in every situation, then help to unlock. If there are some information given to you, that's why if you check the judges, even when they are listening, they hold their pen. And at the time they're holding the pen, when there is important information they can unlock, they write it down. And they do as if they are not hearing you. They write, unlock those things. By the word somebody that is running in conflict is saying, he can be saying some vital word that you can use even for the next case or for the next activity. Therefore, be able to know them and unlock. When you have done that, number 7, create a safety space. Create a safety or safe space. If you look at it that this conflict, there is going to be battle fighting, because there are times they may come as war. Some people may carry knife, some people may carry gun, some people may carry a lot of things, and they put within them, and they come as if nothing happened. So that if you don't say it well, they finish you there. What you have to do is to be sure that you create a safe space. Let it be safety. If it need police or law enforcement officer, you can bring them, not to come and do violence, but actually to stand and guide the presence of peace to be there. When you have done that, keep the people and process on purpose. Don't bring jokes. Don't be diverted. Don't be confused. Keep on purpose. Know what you are there for. Know what you want to do. Know what the conflict have caused. And then you can begin to tell them, look at it. If we had not had this problem, this is where we could have gone. But now we are not going that way again. Let's resolve it. And when you have done that, the number 6 is get creativity when obstacles occur. Get creativity when obstacles occur. You see, when they adjourn a case in the court, what they are doing is they want to go and then have ideas. How can we do? To do consultations, to do review. And then that is what we talk about, the credibility to bring the results. So when things are not very clear, make for a time. There's a time for referral. There's a time you refer, let it come to this time. And there's time to postpone and say, okay, till next. And when you have done that, welcome the unexpected. Those are the steps you can do. Welcome the unexpected. Because when you've done that, you can now see that life can go well. Don't feel that everything must be the way you want. Welcome the unexpected. Because somebody can go and say, they can even claim and blame you, accuse you, criticize you, give name. Allow yourself to have a shock absorber. I tell every leader, and I'm sharing with you, have shock absorber. When the car enter into gallop, you only spring up and continue, not to be shocked and come down. I will never do this thing again. We need also to continue to make sure it is done. And for the last aspect, before I draw the curtain until next day we can continue, I say, if we are to do well, number one, you need a well-developed personal quality. If you must do well as a leader to solve conflicts, please have a well-developed personality quality. You know what people want? Sincerity, honesty, and the rest of the thing, empathy. If it were you, what could have you done? So raise a personality quality that people will not accuse you. When they see transparency going on there, they will say, I will stay with this person because you're a leader. And the way to do it is to resolve their mind that this man is not partial. When you have done that, we come to number two, have relationship skill. Because you want to resolve the conflict, have relationship skill. And there are 15 of them. Relationship skill, how you relate with them, and then they know. That's to say, the issue of tripartite relationship. We know how, you know the skills to do it. Everything in life has its personal skill. Even the way people work, even the way people sell in market or in shops, in any way, they have their skill. Even in our teaching, whatever we do, there's that aspect of skill. And when you've hardened the skill, I said here, remember that godly perspective is important. Maintain godly perspective because human will not make the right thing. But the spirit, the Bible says it is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profited nothing. Make sure you go godly. Let people see the issue that is going on. A lot of them that come, when there is anger, they want to fulfill the will of the devil. So what you have to do is to be sure you help them out. Let there be a godly walk and maintain good attitude. Yes, sit down there. Don't talk there. Come on. I don't want you to talk. Even they are not. Don't do that at all. Have a good attitude. Let it become a slave. Become just a simple person. Laugh when they are laughing. Even you can follow cry when they are crying, but you know where you are going. You know what you are doing. It is part of the steps that you can take in order to resolve conflict. And then what you also need is a model for positive living and behavior. Have a model. When you have a model, you see it's going to work. By then, you can look at the issue of active listening. Listen actively. Number two, have that empathic activity. Feel within you the way they are feeling, because these people are looking at you, are looking at their forehead. They know what your physiological heart is talking. Then do that. Then you know what? Join their experience in a way. Identify with them. Jesus came into this world as God. But one thing, he became man so that he can learn the principles of what we are to become what we should be. You can do the same thing. When we do these things, we'll see that our leadership will be well. People will appreciate you and things will go on. I believe where I stop, others will actually be contributing to make sure that we do well. Leaders, you can destroy, you can maim, you can make people lose confidence in you, but you can also make people stand by you no matter what, even when they follow you to commit sin. It depends on our attitude. So thank you for what we have said, the few that have been mentioned. Like in the court, they say the few cases are presented will convince you to know that leadership and conflict can be handled very well. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. I believe that we've all learned one thing or the other. I've learned a lot. So it's not one, it's not two, it's not even 10. Because I know that my papa, my mentor, my pastor, my professor has done justice to this topic today in another way round, because many people, like I always say, people ask me, why is it that I encourage some of our speakers to speak on the same topic? Because they are speaking from their own different perspective, and you will learn from every one of them in a unique way. And that is why, because, for example, most of the things I learned today from Reverend Akpabio, I haven't heard it before. So you can see that is why it is so important that we listen to all the speakers so that we can learn from every one of them. So I want to say thank you, sir, for really sharing your thoughts with us this afternoon. And I want to appreciate all our great leaders that have joined us from Facebook, and also Dr. Samina, Mr. Rotimi, Mr. Abiodun, and also other people that have joined us earlier, and they are still joining us. I think this morning I've been noticing connection challenges have been happening, but we are still moving on, and they are still coming back, and they has continue to learn from with us, which is very important. Dr. Samina, do you have any questions or comments for Papa Akpabio? Dr. Semina,
Yeah.
any question?
First of all, I appreciate the knowledge and wisdom which he has shared with us. And he explained very nicely every point of conflict managing. So it is full of knowledge and wisdom. I appreciate, and I think that we should ask it more and more, that do many great things again and again, because it is the topic that we should share it again and again. Conflict often happen in the lives of couples, in the life of companions, and everywhere. So we should again and again do it, and teach them to others, so that they remind them that conflict, how we can manage conflict. So
Thank you.
with this, I appreciate that again, sometime with more effort, come and share with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank
Samina.
you very
And I
beautiful.
believe I join also with Dr. Samina to say thank you, sir, Reverend Professor Akpabio, to always coming to share with us on this platform. We do not take your time for granted. Thank you so much, sir. We
Thank you.
appreciate you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody.
And Mr. Rotimi, do you have anything? Mr. Abiodun and Dr. Stephen, anything else to comment before Professor leave us? If not, we can move. Yeah, Dr. Stephen.
Yeah, it was such an amazing presentation by our very senior, honorable doctor, and I really enjoyed it. It was full of wisdom, knowledge, and I love the wealth of wisdom which Honorable Doctor has shared. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And
Thank you.
also another comment from chat box. Yes. Thanks you, Professor. This is a great insight. That is from Mr. Rotimi Christopher that is with us on this platform. So on behalf of Y.Y.C.I International and Y.Y.C.I International Academy, we want to say thank you, sir, for sharing your wealth of wisdom, knowledge, and experiences. Thank you. We really appreciate
Thank
you.
you. God
So
bless you.
anytime you are free, you can go for another another commitment of yours. At least
Thank
we try to do it on time today, 12 o'clock dot.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move on quickly to our next one. Okay, so let's just move on. Thank you so much.
If your dream does not scare you, then you need to dream again. You know why? Because you have greatness in you. Do you know that you can do more than what you are doing right now? You might be a medical doctor. You might be a professor. You might even be a bishop. You can even be a head of state or head of, president of a country. Or you can still do more than that. Because you have greatness in you. Because you can do all things. Because you have gifts that you have not recognized yet. Because you have a book in you to write. Your voice, the world is waiting for. They want to hear from you. They want to see your creativity. So that is why I'm telling you that you have a lot that is still in your storehouses that needs to be bring out.
Okay. So how can we solve the problem is what we've listened to so far from my papa, Professor Akpabio. So let me just quickly give you an hint. How can I solve a problem? Forgive, focus on the present and the reason about the matter. Arguments take energy and time and are not worth your time and energy. Tackle the unresolved conflicts. Using human the right way lessen the burden of the conflict. Lessen your worries, strengthens your mood, reduces anxieties and stress, keeps the nervous system balanced, developed your creativity, and relaxes everyone involved. Laughter helps you survive the major setback. Involve yourself in activities you enjoy. Have fun and hang out with fun-loving people. Everything in life requires hard work, dedication, commitment, sacrifice, investment, honesty, integrity, and also gratitude. Fear is not disagreement that destroy relationships, but how you will deal with it, said by Dr. Phil Oprah Fame, says the following about the fighting fear, as I borrowed from him. Disagreements are going to occur. The question is, do you go into it with a spirit of looking for resolution? Or do you go into it with a spirit of getting even, vengeance, or control? Relationship is not a competition. It's a partnership. Some of the tips he offers for fighting fear are the following. That means I'm referring to Dr. Phil Oprah. Know what you are trying to achieve. Put boundaries around the discussion so that you don't end up arguing about every negative thing that has ever happened in your relationship. Avoid character assassination. Practice active listening. You can hear that from Professor Akpabio. Try paraphrasing to make sure that you understood what the other person said and ask for clarification. If there is something that you are not clear about, remember we always ask you to ask questions. Set a time limit. Be willing to compromise. Reach an agreement on how you are going to solve the issue. And strong relationships don't just happen, you work it out. Ways to change your mindset then. If we say mindset is everything, and without renewed mindset, there will be no transformation. Dreams. Have a dreams, have a goals, desire to be an impactful leader. Decision on how I want to lead people. So you have to decide that. Then discipline yourself or myself as a leader. Diligent in whatever we are doing as a leader. And let us be honest to ourselves and to others. So honesty and integrity. That will make me now to invite our next speaker that is really waiting for a long time. So let me do something.